The Grand Theft Auto 6 rumors have begun. E3 2018 is starting to take shape. Will anybody knock Happy Harvick off of his NASCAR ladder this year? Ronda Rousey no shows at Raw. Why WWE likes to reinvent their history when it comes to people who may or may have not been sketchy in the past. CM Punk's next fight is already set. Deadpool 2 is in reshoots, and Nicolas Cage finally gets to be Superman. All this and more coming up right now. It's time to take you from pillar to post. What's up, everybody? I'm Joe White. Welcome to this edition of From Pillar to Post. I'm happy that you're joining me right here on the From Pillar to Post YouTube channel. Couple things to talk about here. The CWF Mid-Atlantic After Show, the official, unofficial CWF Mid-Atlantic After Show here. There's been some changes to Worldwide TV as far as its concept goes. So I'm going to lead off with this. From what CWF Worldwide told us yesterday in a tweet, because I asked them, hey, what's going on with Worldwide? And they replied with, they're going to go on Twitch on Wednesday nights now from now on. And then the YouTube thing will pop up 24 hours later. So if you're looking for CWF Worldwide and the after show on YouTube, it's going to pop up 24 hours later on the YouTube channels. I'm assuming CWF is going to go at 9 p.m. on Thursdays now with Worldwide. I'll put the after show up there and broadcast and put it up there probably at around 10 on YouTube if you're looking for it there. But what I highly suggest that you do, so that you can get in the mix live with everybody else, hop on over to twitch.tv, and then you can follow CWF Mid-Atlantic. It's twitch.tv/CWF Mid-Atlantic. And also follow from the From Pillar to Post channel, which is twitch.tv/From Pillar to Post. And that way you can watch us live, interact with me live, interact with the CWF crew live over there on their channel. And, yeah, we'll just have a lot of fun. I like this new medium. I hope it works out for them. And, yeah, I'm excited for it. It'll be starting tonight. Let's get into some movie news here. Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 is rumored to be in turmoil, but several sources are saying that's not the case. A lot of people are flip-floppity on this, from the Hollywood Reporter saying one thing, Variety saying another, Collider saying another. The Deadpool 2 comes courtesy of Collider. The Deadpool 2 rumor mill has been swirling over the last couple days, and we're here to set the record straight. Reports surfaced yesterday that initial test screenings for the Deadpool sequel went poorly, and that reshoots have been ordered by 20th Century Fox to try and fix some of the issues. According to our sources, this is false. Now, I can tell you here, this is not me reading this article anymore. This is me speaking. I can say that John Campea, over on his channel, the John Campea Show, said the same thing. That these rumors of the test screenings, the reshoots have been confirmed. The reshoots are happening. But the test screenings being poor are totally false from what I'm hearing. But I'm also hearing from other sources that it's real. So it's kind of up in the air, and I guess we're going to have to kind of wait until the film comes out to see what actually, what the actual deal is. But going back to this Collider article, it says, we're hearing that the first Deadpool 2 test screening in January, when the film tested around a 90 or 91 out of 100. The studio then had another test screening after more editing had been completed, at which point the film tested in the high 90s. However, while both test screenings went out well, our sources tell us that crowds in both screenings had the same quote-unquote complaint. They wanted to see more Zazie Beetz' character Domino and more of Josh Brolin's Cable. Reshoots or additional photography have become normal in the movie-making process, especially when it comes to blockbusters. So when Deadpool 2 order reshoots roll out, around recently, they specifically focused on adding more scenes with Domino and Cable to address this note that came up quite a bit during the test screenings. Here's my take on this, guys. Here's my whole take on this. And I will say that another website, Midnight's Edge, did a beautiful job commenting on this as well. So shout out to those guys. I look at it this way. They tested it. They wanted to see more Domino. They wanted to see more Cable. That tells me that there was probably way too much Deadpool goofing off in this. So it's Ryan Reynolds has kind of been left up to his own devices, David Leitch is behind the camera, and Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick are writing this one. They had to go get a new director because of a fallout between Ryan Reynolds and the previous director. So is this going to be better than the first one? My guess is no. Is it still going to be a good film? Yes. But it's, John Campea said it best. It's very hard to put lightning in a bottle twice. It's very hard for sequels to be as good or on par with their first film. It's just it just doesn't happen that often. I mean, you can maybe count on your one hand. The only one that ever comes to my mind that was equally or on par, Godfather 2. But then they went and made Godfather 3, as the old cliche goes. But I look at it this way. These can only be good things. Am I worried that they're reshooting so close to the release date? No, because it's all digital now, and you could go in there and just chop sake away with it and just get it up there. It's not coming out until May 18th. You got 2 more months. These reshoots have probably been happening since January or February, so it doesn't bother me that much. We're all going to go see it. That's just it. People are sitting there going, is this going to deter for the box office? Is moving it up 1 week from June 1st to May 18th going to, or more than 1 week, from moving it up from June 1st to May 18th, is that going to put a damper on it? No. The reason why they did that is because they wanted to put it, May is a huge month for movies. You got Deadpool 2, you got Solo, you got Avengers Infinity War, also among others coming out in May. So it's a huge month for movies. May is the kickoff of the summer blockbuster season. So between Disney and Marvel, that's another thing that kills me. Disney has their hands in these pies all over the place. They're probably going to make money off the Deadpool movie because of the fact that, hey, it's still a Marvel property. They still probably get a cut of the action. Avengers Infinity War, it's Disney. It may be Marvel, but Disney owns Marvel. The same thing with Star Wars. It's Star Wars, but it's Disney. So that damn mouse is going to have its finger in all these pies. So their biggest thing is just having these movies, they want Deadpool 2, or Fox wants Deadpool 2 to be good. And all signs are pointing that it is good, but they just wanted to see more of the other 2 characters. So they're like, you want to see more of these? Fine, we'll go do some reshoots. We'll edit in more of these guys. My feeling is that they probably came in, these test screeners after the movie, they probably came into their room or wherever. I know that when I attended the test screening of Downsize, they hand you these little cards afterwards asking you to fill out your name and whatever, and asking what you thought of the film. And that's probably what happened with these test screenings of Deadpool. And the majority of those little cards probably said, we want to know more about Brolin's character. We want to know more about Zazie Beetz' character. And Fox said, okay, if you think that'll make the movie better, we'll go do it. And they're doing it. So it's not that the movies are bad. It's not that Deadpool stuff is bad. It's just they wanted to see more of those 2 characters. And I'm excited for this. Another thing that has been suggested is that maybe the reshoots are Deadpool going back and cracking more jokes on Josh Brolin being in Infinity War and the Deadpool story. I have a feeling we're going to get a few jokes about that. So, look, at the end of the day, people are going to go see this. Your minds are already made up if you're going to go see it or not. I'm going to go see it. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm so looking forward to the month of May. Oh, Movie wise, it's going to be freaking amazing. And then you got E3, which we'll talk about in June for video games, right around the corner. It's May and June are always awesome. And you know, when it comes, the weather gets warmer. You go see a little bit of movie, you know, go see some movies. The drive-in movie theater near my house opens up around March or April. So I'm excited for this. I'm so excited for the month of May as far as movies go. People say the Solo movie looks bad. I like the trailers for it. Avengers Infinity War has me worried more than anything because they moved it up a week. Again, they don't want to bottleneck the moviegoers. But they haven't released another trailer yet, and that movie is coming out in a little over a month. Rumors are that the ticket sales for Avengers Infinity War on Fandango will go on sale this Friday. Also, another big rumor is that we will get our second trailer during Good Morning America on Friday, right before ticket sales go on sale at 11 a.m. So who knows what's going to happen with Disney, or with Avengers Infinity War. It is pretty much Disney's Infinity War, you know. But Avengers Infinity War, I'm excited for it. There's a lot of rumors on what the Hulk does in this movie. There's toys out there. Spoiler alert, there's toys out there because, you know, they released the toys. Because it's all about, George Lucas taught us one thing in filmmaking, in this type of filmmaking. It's that they're 2.5-hour toy commercials. But the toys show, and this is a spoiler alert, that the Hulk is inside that Hulkbuster armor, like Bruce Banner is inside the Hulkbuster armor, and then I guess he gets angry and bursts out of it as the Hulk. Because there's a rumor leak in the story that part of the Hulk storyline, and that the Hulk may have a pivotal point or pivotal role in this movie, that he cannot turn into the Hulk again. Like he's chemically incapable of doing it, no matter how angry he gets, and they take it from there. I've also heard rumors that the Hulk is pretty much the one that comes back to Earth and tells everybody, hey, Thanos is coming and he's coming to kick your ass and this is what he can do. He's not even a match for me, so we need to hunker down and get ready for war. But he's the Chicken Little of the group. The sky is falling, and nobody believes him at first. But I'm looking forward to Avengers Infinity War. I'm looking forward to Deadpool 2. My son wants to go see that silly Rampage movie with The Rock, which I'm in the huge minority when I tell people that The Rock is not as huge of a movie star as people make it out to be. People sit there and go, he's the greatest movie star in Hollywood right now. No, he's not. Look at Baywatch last year. Bomb. Sorry. That movie, the first movie he did with Kevin Hart, where he pays Central Intelligence or whatever it is, bombed. It wasn't that big of a deal. This movie is just going to be a little popcorn movie of three monsters running around. And for me, as a video game fan watching this, I'm curious to see how they treat the property. I'm curious to see how they treat the monsters. But I could care less who's playing the Rock character. They could have, freaking Squeaky Fromm in the... I know there's a name from the past. People are going to go, who's that? But anyway, they could have freaking, I don't know, useless B-movie actor, Exhibit A in there, and it's a filler role. Anybody could walk around saying he's my friend, George. You could put Brendan Fraser in that role, and it wouldn't matter. Okay, so. But I will give The Rock credit in that this is his brainchild. He's wanted to do this for a while. His whole production company, I believe, that $7 Productions, started because of this movie. Because he wanted to get this movie made. This is probably going to be the first movie with a $7 Productions title in it. And for those who don't know, Rock has started his own quote-unquote production company. Kind of like how Adam Sandler has the Happy Madison logo in front of all of his films. The Rock is going to have $7 Productions in front of all of his films now. I mean, that's just the way it is because he's going to want credit for it. Nicolas Cage. You're wondering, what image are you seeing of Nicolas Cage on your screen? Well, there was and for those of you who are fans of Kevin Smith, you've heard him talk about this. John Schnepp did a documentary about Superman Returns or Superman Lives, the film that never happened, and it's a great documentary. But Nicolas Cage was, and this is like in the late 90s, early 2000s, Nicolas Cage was supposed to play Superman on this Superman Lives movie. Well, the movie never got made. It got, as you can see there, he got fitted for a suit, and it just did not come together. Go watch John Schnepp's documentary. It's very, very good. Well, Nicolas Cage is going to get to play Superman after all in a Teen Titans Go to the Movies, which will be in theaters on July 27th, which, man, again, they're just now telling him he's going to play this role, and it's in July. They're cutting it close to the wire. Nicolas Cage is finally going to get to play Superman again. This comes from The Hollywood Reporter. The Oscar-winning actor will voice the Man of Steel in the upcoming Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Exclusive producer Sam Register told USA Today. Cage famously almost played Superman in the proposed 1998 film Superman Lives, which would have been directed by Tim Burton with a script from Kevin Smith. That is wrong, because they passed on Kevin Smith's rewrite and gave it to somebody else down the line. It was going to be produced as well by John Peters. That movie would have featured Brainiac, Doomsday, and Lex Luthor as villains. There's been footage of Cage's costume test floating around the internet for years, but that's as close as fans got to see of that version of Superman after the project fell apart in early stages. Cage also has another unique Superman collection. He once owned an issue of Superman's 1938 Action Comics debut, considered the rarest comic of all time. He later sold the comic book for $2.1 million. Teen Titans Go is making a jump to the big screen from its Cartoon Network show. Other actors involved include singer-songwriter Hazley, who voices Wonder Woman, and rapper Lil Yachty, who plays Green Lantern. The movie will hit theaters July 27th. Here's my thoughts on this. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be excited. I'm not. I could care less. I don't like Teen Titans Go. I don't like it because of the simple fact that they treat the Teen Titans as goofy little cartoon characters, and it's kind of like SpongeBob with Teen Titan characters mixed in it. The show is stupid. It has nothing to do with any of the comic book related stuff except for the fact of, there's the Teen Titans walking around doing stupid shit. It's a cartoon for 6 to 7 year olds. It's not in canon with anything DC has ever done, I don't think. I've watched a couple episodes of it, and I'm sitting here going, why is Robin running around acting like an idiot? It's so silly. And people are going to go, well, Joe, it's a cartoon. Yes, but look at what Star Wars did with Rebels. Look at what Young Justice League did. Look at Batman the Animated Series. They treated those characters with respect, not silly little 20-minute cartoons like SpongeBob. So that's the main problem I have with Teen Titans Go. It's not the way those characters deserve to be treated, even in animated form. And so I could care less about this. I could care less about the fact Nicolas Cage is playing in this. I think Nicolas Cage is above this. Anyway, getting on to some wrestling news here. Ronda Rousey was not at Raw, even though she had been advertised for every single Monday Night Raw leading up to WrestleMania. PW Insider confirms that Rousey missed this past Monday, because she was traveling to the Northeast to prepare for her WrestleMania showdown against Triple H and Stephanie. Rousey and Kurt Angle were both in Stamford, Connecticut yesterday to work on the match. Here's the thing. I expected this because she can't wrestle yet, guys. She's not a professional wrestler. She's only been training in NXT for maybe a year, less than that. So, yeah, they're going to need to go over this match and work through this match with a fine-tooth freaking comb. And if it means her, Hunter, and Triple H and Stephanie and Kurt missing a Monday Night Raw or two and them just airing a video package to make sure that this match goes off without a hitch, every move being fluid, every spot being fluid, Ronda Rousey being fluid, Kurt Angle being fluid, and Stephanie McMahon being fluid, because let's face it, out of the 4 people in this match, Triple H is probably the only one that could still go like he did in the Attitude Era. And, so it's one of those things where Ronda Rousey, being the newcomer, again, they just want to make sure that this match goes off without a hitch. They are going to have this match choreographed right down to the entrances, right down to the ring announcer speaking. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So that's why Ronda Rousey was not at Raw. Twitter went amok this past Monday when WWE announced that they are doing a Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal at WrestleMania this year. This comes courtesy of Forbes. It says WWE can't seem to get out of its own way when it comes to the checkered history of a carnival-based industry. And then it goes on to talk about how Fabulous Moolah is the latest controversial subject of lionization, as during Monday Night's Raw's broadcast, WWE announced that the first ever Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal would take place at WrestleMania 34. During WrestleMania weekend in 2018, Moolah will now join the Ultimate Warrior, the subject of the annual Warrior Award, as questionable beacons of immortality whose legacies certainly do not age well. Pro Wrestling Twitter made sure to issue a reminder of why honoring the Fabulous Moolah could be considered upsetting. Somebody on Twitter goes, does the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal mean that Moolah gets 35% of everybody's Mania payoff? Trevor Dame on Twitter goes, on the heels of the Warrior Award and the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, WWE is pleased to announce the Fritz Von Erich Father of the Year trophy. No doubt Titus O'Neil will get that one. For real, though, I'm going to need a much longer video explaining how feeding young women drugs and using them as sexual currency is revolutionary and empowering for women, said one young lady on Twitter. Now, I will say that, yeah, it doesn't age well. It doesn't age well at all. And I think that they need to really they're not going to rethink this. WWE's going to spin their own history. We saw that with that video package on Monday night. For those who don't know, I'll read this. This is again from Forbes, despite an otherwise incomparable professional wrestling career, former trainees of the Fabulous Moolah have accused her of everything from sexual exploitation to financial impropriety. In 1961, the Augusta Chronicle reported the former four-time women's champion made $125,000, which adjusted for inflation is the equivalent to just over $1 million in 2018. Unfortunately, one would be hard-pressed to find the glowing stories of Moolah sharing the wealth. Former trainee Mad Maxine, real name Janine Mosaeth, described a torturous environment within Moolah's compound to Bill Farrow of Slam Sports. Under the so-called tutelage of the living legend, whose influence dominated women's wrestling at the time, women were charged rent and in addition to training fees of $1,500 or more. Mosaeth went into further detail. The girls went into debt to her, and she controlled their lives. I made sure I had a job so I could have a phone and a car. The others were kind of marooned. It was an environment for ripe abuse. The article goes on to say that basically how this went is people would sit there and go, every time you got booked out, she would take a cut of your money. And it's not uncommon for wrestling schools to do that. Go back to the Beyond the Mat. When Tony Jones and Mike Modest get their tryout in the movie, I know this is way back in the late 90s, early 2000s, but Roland Alexander, the late Roland Alexander now, it's mentioned in that movie that if those two were to sign with WWE, Roland Alexander gets 20% of their contracts. So it's not uncommon for this to happen. What is uncommon is you using women like prostitutes and feeding them drugs over and over and controlling their lives, not letting them leave the house unless you say so, shit like that. So it's well documented out there. Again, much like the Warrior stuff, it's a really, really bad thing to get around. It really is. And when WWE just covers it up and tries to make it all sunshine and lollipops, it's bad on them, and it's bad for the person that they're doing it to. What's next? Are we going to have the Chris Benoit Memorial Tournament? I mean, is that what's coming up next? Because that guy did some horrible shit too, but they seem to sit there and think, oh, we could just brush that under the rug. It goes, time heals all wounds, Not in 2018, it doesn't. Not with the internet, it doesn't. Those wounds never get healed when there's articles being constantly published and tweets constantly being published about it. So the old saying of time heals all wounds in 2018, not true. CM Punk took to Twitter. Somebody asked him a question on Twitter, which this person now deleted it. But apparently June 9th in Chicago, UFC is holding their very first pay-per-view in Chicago. And somebody apparently asked him what he's going to do after he, fights in the octagon or whatever. And he goes, June 9, after I win, I'm going to lock eyes with my wife, embrace my coaches, and shout out my entire team. So apparently CM Punk has pretty much confirmed that he will be fighting for the UFC yet again on June 9th in Chicago, his hometown. Here's how I feel about this. He's probably going to lose again. If he does lose, maybe he'll be all in for another return to Chicago in September. That's all I'll say. And you all know what that means. I think that if he loses another one, he's not going to go through another 2-year-long camp again. He's going to go back to pro wrestling because the UFC has already said if he loses again, they're not taking him back. I'm really, really surprised that Dana White's letting him fight again just because of the fact that after the last fight, Dana White pretty much was of the opinion of maybe he shouldn't be here. Maybe this isn't the route that he needs to go. And I thought that it was going to be over with then. But apparently not. It's interesting to see. It's interesting to see who his opponent's going to be. Again, the clock is ticking for his opponent to get ready. So we'll see what happens with CM Punk. NASCAR news here. Busch Beer has announced that they're coming back in as an official sponsor of NASCAR, being dubbed the official beer of NASCAR. Busch was the title series sponsor of what is now the NASCAR Xfinity Series, formerly the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And before it was the Nationwide Series, it was the Busch Series for years. And in fact, people always used to say, on Saturday, I'm going to watch the Busch race. So Busch has come back on as the official beer sponsor of NASCAR and has reinstituted the return of the Busch Pole Award. We are continuing to evolve our presence in NASCAR because we believe in the power and loyalty of the NASCAR fans, said Chelsea Phillips, Vice President of Value and Beyond Beer Brands, Anheuser-Busch. Returning as the official beer of NASCAR strengthens our deep-rooted history in the sport and will provide fans with even more opportunities to enjoy a crisp, cold Busch beer on the race day. Man. Here it is. This stigma that NASCAR can't seem to get past. And as long as we have, you got that old Busch beer sponsoring you, NASCAR's never going to be able to get on beyond the fact that it's a nothing but rednecks going in a circle. That's what people think about you, NASCAR. That's what people think about you. I hear all the time on the SiriusXM NASCAR channel, all the time, talking about how we can bring in new fans, how we can repack the grandstands in, how we can, get past this stigma of 50, the average NASCAR fan, and it's like this across the board for all sports, but more predominantly in NASCAR and pro wrestling. And I've been meaning to do a article or a video essay about the relationship between NASCAR and wrestling. There's very strong parallels here, folks. NASCAR fans are much like wrestling fans in that most wrestling fans, when you go up to a random person on the street who has no idea what professional wrestling really is, or they know what it is but never watched it, what do they say? It's probably watched by grown men in their mother's basements or a bunch of white trash rednecks. Same thing could be said for NASCAR. The common stigma is that NASCAR fans are nothing but poor white trailer trash. which is interesting because for the past few races, anytime NASCAR has a chance to spot African American fans and it's in the grandstands, they quickly cut to them and focus on them. It's amazing what they're trying to do to improve their image. But this Busch Beer Pole Award, cheap beer pole award, you're never going to see the Sam Adams Pole Award, or the Shock Top Pole Award, or the Jim's Micro Brew Pole Award. No, NASCAR just goes right back to Busch Beer. And so the white trash rednecks in the infield and their campers will be happy about that, I guess, because Busch Beer used to give out free samples of beer at the racetracks. Kevin Harvick last week was penalized for a rear window defect as well as the side rocker panel / side skirt of the car not being made out of the proper material. His crew chief was docked, I believe, $10,000 or was it $50,000? I want to say it was $50,000. He was docked some points, but that didn't matter because at Phoenix, Happy Harvick would take the checkered flag and would dominate the field yet again, giving a slap to the back window upon in his victory celebration and telling all the haters out there to I see you, and blaming social media for the reason as to why the penalty came down, because, of course, nobody caught it on race day, but leave it to the trolls on Twitter to take video and post it up on Twitter going, hey, NASCAR, his window is buckling. So that, of course, led NASCAR to tear apart the car, as they do with every race winner up at the R&D Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. And they found that, here's what I think happened, and I agree with Kevin Harvick. I'm not a huge Kevin Harvick fan, as most of you know. I'm a Martin Truex Jr. fan, who is now third in the NASCAR point standings. But I think that once NASCAR found that rocker panel defect, they're like, okay, now we got the smoking gun. Now we can bust them on the rear window too. Even though the rear window passed post-race inspection. For those who don't know, NASCAR inspects these vehicles to make sure they're within the rules, and they run them through a laser inspection station. Used to be that they had a set of templates, and they would strap the templates on the car, measure the car that way. They would inspect the car by hand. They did a little bit of camera, robotic inspection, but it used to be pretty much all by hand with a set of templates. Now, the templates have pretty much gone out the window, except for probably the spoiler height, and they take these cars through basically they stick them. What only could be, how when you go to, you hear about these, the wrestlers getting their action figure done, or video game people going to get scanned for video games. They put them in a booth that with a bunch of cameras that scans them. Think of that being done to a race car, only it's heavily detailed. It's measuring every inch of that car from top to bottom, side to side. And if it finds any defect, you got to go fix it and run it back through the inspection process again. If you run it through the inspection process 3 times and it fails, you lose your car chief for the weekend. Plus, people get fined and suspended and everything like that. If you have to run it through more than 4 times, they can tell you, no, you can't run because the car doesn't meet the specifications or the rules of NASCAR. Kevin Harvick passed pre-race inspection in Las Vegas. His car went through the laser point inspection gimmick again after the race in Las Vegas, and he passed. But people got their damn microscopes out and their slide rules out and their stopwatches out, and they went through the footage on their VCRs, on their DVRs, frame by frame by frame. Literally, that's what a video I saw on Twitter. And they had to point out the NASCAR, hey, his window's bouncing up and down, man. I don't like it. So, NASCAR, coming from under pressure of the social media, went ahead and busted him for it. Even though the car passed post-race inspection. Kevin Harvick said a lot last week in the social media and the Phoenix Media Center. He said it on TV. He said it on radio. Look, this isn't like the PGA used to be, because the PGA, the Professional Golf Association, used to allow people to, social media to have a say on what went on with the rules and everything if they caught something on TV. They don't do it now, but that's what happened here. The NFL would never, ever allow people to go, hey, after a game, by the way. They would never allow people after a game to go on social media and go, he's got stickum on his hands. You can see it if you go frame by frame. Aaron Rodgers had stickum on his hands. And the NFL is going to go back and look at it and go, yeah, we'll take that win away. We'll fine him. And Aaron Rodgers is not allowed to wear, gloves for the next 2 games, or something stupid like that. They would never do that. Neither should NASCAR or golf or baseball, soccer, any other damn sport out there. Even video games. People have been caught cheating after the fact by people on social media. Professional gamer, he was cheating. He used the debug code. So, they didn't catch him at the time of the event. And I guarantee you, if people had not, would they have caught this when they tore down the car in Charlotte anyway? Maybe. Would they have fined him for it? No, because there's no damn rule about it in the rule book. Social media got the better of NASCAR, and NASCAR said, shit, we got to pay attention to this. These fans are going to be pissed if we, because he's won 2 races in a row now. And he dominated both races, and we gotta honor these trolls on Twitter. Again, I'm not a huge Kevin Harvick fan. Do I think the penalties were just? Yes. Do I think that NASCAR should have been allowed to find them on their own? Yes. Do I think social media should have had an influence in this? No. Do I think it did? Yes. It's just like these fans out there, WWE, I talked about it a minute ago. All these trolls out there on Twitter, the fabulous Moolah was not a good person. Do you really think WWE is going to pay attention to you guys? No. The Battle Royal is going to go off as planned. They're going to tout her name as she was the second coming to women's wrestling. Do I agree with it? No. Do I think WWE is right in sometimes saying, hey, I don't care about social media? Yes, because I'm sorry, it's social freaking media. Opinions are like what's. Everybody's got one. But do I think that NASCAR needs to sit there and tell people on social media, look, you can have your opinions, but you're not going to have an influence in this sport just based off social media? They didn't catch this thing at the track. I don't think they would have really made a big deal about it, even if, unless social media was involved. And I agree with Kevin Harvick's comments 100%. Twitter should not have an influence in NASCAR rule booking. Let them catch the shit on their own, and if they don't catch it, oh well. They're the sanctioning body, for crying out loud. Let me know what you think about this. Leave a comment down below. Speaking of NASCAR point standings, Kevin Harvick, with his win at ISM Speedway, has elevated back up to the top of the charts, even though he got docked some points. He leads. He has 4 starts, 3 wins, 3 top 5s, 1 DNF, which was Daytona, 3 stage wins, and 11 playoff points. Right behind him is Kyle Busch, where he was 12 points back. Martin Truex Jr. is also 12 points back. So I guess the only reason why Kyle Busch is in second is due to the amount of top 10 finishes, I guess. I don't see how. Here's what I don't get. And stage wins. That has a lot to do with it, too. Martin Truex Jr. doesn't have any stage wins. Kyle Busch has at least 1. So, again, your top 5 in the NASCAR 2018 Monster Energy Cup standings: Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, and Ryan Blaney in 5th. It's going down through the top 10 here. Denny Hamlin in 6th, Keselowski in 7th, Kyle Larson in 8th, Clint Bowyer in 9th, Eric Almirola is in 10th. And then if you're going to go to the playoffs, if it were to end right now, Austin Dillon would be in, Kevin Harvick would be in, and then they cycle the rest through points and everything like that. Fantasy picks coming up this week in Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Who do you got in your fantasy, Joe? Well, I'll tell you. I got my starters as Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, and Darrell Wallace Jr. Kevin Harvick is in my garage. I will more than likely bring him in after stage 2, but the only reason why I'm not bringing him in right now is because I only have 6 races that I can use him left. In the NASCAR fantasy game on NASCAR.com, you're only allowed to use a race car driver for your starters or your garage 10 times in the season. For the pole winner, I have Kevin Harvick. Stage 1 winner, I'm going to go ahead and give to Joey Logano. Stages 2 and 3, well, stages 2 in your race winner, Kevin Harvick. I think Kevin Harvick's going to continue the streak this week. And, of course, I got the manufacturer winner going to Ford. Qualifying is on the 16th at 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time. So, yeah, that's not my hardcore roster, but that's who I have picked going into Fontana. Kyle Larson won it last year. But, yeah, I think Harvick's going to win it. I really think Harvick's going to run away with it right now. When they mentioned something on the Trading Paint show on the SiriusXM NASCAR channel. Who is going to be the one to end Kevin Harvick's streak, and where will it happen? I think it's going to be Alex Bowman, and I think it's going to be at Martinsville. That 88 team is good in Martinsville. Is Alex Bowman good in Martinsville, though? That remains to be seen. But I think it's going to be Alex Bowman in that 88 at Martinsville. That he's going to knock him off his pedestal. I really do. But even if it's not Alex Bowman, it's going to happen in Martinsville next weekend. Let's talk about some video games here. E3 2018 is approaching in June. 3 months away. Golly, we're 3 months away from E3. That's freaking amazing. Bethesda was the first company to announce their 2018 E3 press conference. The Bethesda E3 Showcase, or what they're calling BE3, will be on Sunday, June 10th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Fans, once again, will have the opportunity to register for the event. Now, you could be asking yourself, Joe, the graphic on your screen says June 12th to the 14th, but they're doing this thing on June 10th. Here's how E3 works. June 12th through the 14th, I believe, is a Tuesday through Thursday. Let me check here. Yeah, it's a Tuesday through Thursday. So what they'll do is on some cases Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, the big people like Bethesda, Microsoft, Sony, Ubisoft, EA, etc., they'll have press conferences to show you what's coming and what will be on the E3 show floor for the following few days. Microsoft, according to a leak, Microsoft's press conference will remain on Sunday, moved up an hour over last year's time slot. This would place the 2018 Microsoft E3 press conference to Sunday, June 10th at 1 p.m. Pacific or 4 p.m. Eastern. And then I want to guess that Sony will be on Monday night. Again, which sucks because I have to juggle everything. So here we go. Let's run down some E3 games. Again, these are a list of confirmed games for E3 2018. For the PlayStation 4, and this is an exclusive, it's going to be The Last of Us Part 2. I'm excited to see that. For all platforms, Xbox One, PS4, and PC, not the Switch, so I guess it ain't all platforms, but Xbox One, PS4, and PC, Anthem is confirmed. Battlefield 2018, which a title is to be determined. Platforms are to be determined, but it is confirmed, according to IGN. The Division 2 is also confirmed for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. These are a list of rumored games for E3 2018. Borderlands 3 for all the major platforms here. I'll put it this way. I'll let you know if it's coming out on Switch. I still don't consider Switch a major platform yet. Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Crackdown 3 is going to be an Xbox exclusive. The infamous Cyberpunk 2077. Days Gone. The Final Fantasy VII Remake. Kingdom Hearts 3, of course. Kirby for the Switch. Metroid Prime 4 for the Switch. A new Pokemon for the Switch. Other notables here, Shenmue 3 for the PS4 and PC, the Spider-Man game for the PS4, Tomb Raider 2018, which is now Shadow of the Tomb Raider, WWE 2K19, and Yoshi for the Nintendo Switch. Devil May Cry director Hideki Itsuno could reveal his next game at E3. It didn't have a presence at E3 2017. But he tweeted out that the development of the new project is now under climax, indicating that his team will have something to reveal soon. Rumors suggest that this may be a new Devil May Cry. EA announced that it's going to have new EA Sports games, The Sims 4, mobile games, as well as an inside look at Anthem and Battlefield as well. Grand Theft Auto 6 rumors are vamping up. According to a YouTube channel called The Know, who claimed to have an inside source on the project, it's going by at Rockstar as Project Americas. As for why it's named Project Americas, apparently it's because you'll be able to fly between the United States and South America throughout the game. The Know also claims that it's going to be taking place primarily in Vice City. Vice City is the game's fictional take on the city of Miami, and it's where the sixth entry of the series took place. It's where the numbering is a bit much. A game has taken place in San Andreas before. It was called Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and it's probably my favorite Grand Theft Auto game next to Grand Theft Auto 5. I really enjoy Grand Theft Auto 5. What part of South America wasn't disclosed. Lastly, rumors of a female protagonist are out there. I think it would be awesome to have a female protagonist in a Grand Theft Auto game. We haven't gotten that yet, so I think it's going to be awesome. All signs are pointing to a 2021-2022 release date. It's 3 to 4 years away. Look, let's let them get Red Dead Redemption 2 out of the gate first before we go doing Grand Theft Auto 6. So. Do I think, though, that they're already developing it? Yes. Do I think that the marketing campaign, as far as, once 2020 gets here, is it going to vamp up for Grand Theft Auto 6? Yes. So I'm excited. Do I think it should be placed in Vice City? Yeah. Do I like the idea of flying back and forth between South America and Vice City? No, not really. I like the idea of a female protagonist. Do I think that they will do the swapping between characters? Yes. But have them be female. Have it be all female. We're in this kick now where everything's got to be remade as all female. Why not Grand Theft Auto? And honestly, I think a female protagonist for Grand Theft Auto would be freaking amazing. It will be. I mean, despite the whole, yay, we got to fall into the SJW alignment of the world, it just makes, if you take all that crap away and all that political bullshit away from it, it makes sense. It just does. It's time. But here's the thing I want this character, if they do a female character, I want her to be every dark bit, every bit of sadistic as other characters have been. Look at the characters in Grand Theft Auto 5. They weren't the nicest of people, maybe Franklin. But anyway, they weren't the nicest of people, so make her like that. Make her a criminal. Make her a dark, seedy, will beat you the hell up criminal. Don't sit there and treat her all dainty just because it's a female. So, anyway, that's what I got for today here on From Pillar to Post. I'd like to thank you guys so much for listening. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Pillar to Post. There's a link to the Patreon in the description. $1 a month gets you everything, including an audio version of the official, unofficial CWF Mid-Atlantic After Show and whatever else I feel like throwing up there. Also, be sure to subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and more importantly, hit that bell icon to let you know when we post something or when we go live. I'm Joe White, and you've just been taken from Pillar to Post.